Joe, and we're back. Mate, round 17 is done and dusted. Can you believe we only have, 7 rounds to go of the football? What is
I
this
believe it.
nonsense?
I
Yeah.
believe it. But what I don't believe is us being so highly ranked at this point of the season. The last time we did that, it was 2013. And a
Yeah.
lot of bad things happened after that. But it's okay. We're not here talking about that. Yes, Cheese. Up the Dons, baby. Up the Dons, mate. It's a very nice time. Very nice time to be alive as an
Yeah.
Essendon supporter. I think we've left the bad times behind, and I think we're onwards and upwards to much brighter, much greener pastures.
Yeah. I mean, new coach, new team dynamic. You've
Yep.
got a couple of injuries or some suspected things happening, and it doesn't affect the team as much as what probably has in the past, which is a fantastic position to be in. You've got coverage across a lot of positions as well, which I'm not sure you guys really have had in the past, Joe.
No. It's the first time in a long time where we have competition for spots. People aren't just guaranteed positions. We've got the likes of Dylan Shield being used as a sub now. And to think that we gave up 2 first-round picks for a guy who's now our sub because he's been overtaken. Not in the process of being overtaken. He is well and truly gone past by Hobbs, by Perkins, and by Caldwell. So very exciting.
Yeah, definitely. Team's looking all right. Going off my tips. Hey, Jed. Going off my tips for this week, I actually got 6. I think I got 6. No, I got 7. So 7's pretty good for me at the moment. I missed out on a couple there. I think I had picked Freo and someone else. So, yeah, not doing too bad this week. How'd you go?
Yeah, I got 7 as well. The only ones I got wrong were I tipped the Swans to beat the Tigers.
Yeah, I think that was it. I got the Swans and then I had picked Freo to beat Carlton.
Yeah, exactly the same. I thought Freo would bounce back.
Let us down.
They let us down big time. They've let their fans down as well. Gee, I thought at this point in the season, up until now, Carlton were the biggest disappointment. But Freo are really pressing their case for being the most disappointing, considering that they won an elimination final last year. So from winning an elimination final to now being bottom 4, geez, they've been very bad.
Yeah. Fantastic start of the year as well. So I know kind of with Sean Darcy being injured and then coming back, it has something to do with it. But yeah, it's a really, really rough situation to be in. And you'd hope that they can continue and try and push for finals. But
I mean, every team's got injuries. I
just don't know if they can.
They're a very young team, though. They are a very young team, so we can give them, I suppose, some slack there. Theo, Pies win the premiership, and Jennifer agrees. Well, if you paid attention to our stream last night, we did the ladder predictor. We did it all the way through finals, and yes, Pies win the premiership. So wrap it up, guys. It's all over. It's all about who comes second for now. It's all about who comes next. Jen got 7 out of 9 as well this week for the tips.
Nice. Yeah, it's tricky. Sometimes I think with my tips as well, before we kind of go into before we kind of go into the teams and how the teams went this week, I think I'm favouring kind of home ground advantage a little bit more now. Should have done that in Supercoach by keeping my Brisbane Lion players instead of trading them the week before their bye round. But you know, things like, Brisbane are good at Marvel and the Gabba, but like everywhere else, they're kind of crap. Or Sydney home ground advantage, Port home ground advantage, that kind of thing. It's actually kind of getting to be something that's a lot more important than I thought it was going to be.
Oh, really? Come on, man. Home ground advantage is everything, especially for the interstate teams.
Well, there you go.
It's so important, so vital. You look at Geelong. That's why Geelong are always a shoe-in for finals every year. They play enough games in Geelong that they manage to get over the line.
Mm-hmm.
But also, the thing that Geelong also do when they play at home is they don't play Collingwood in Geelong. You know what I mean? They don't play Richmond in Geelong. They don't play against these big clubs. They don't play against Carlton and Geelong. But Essendon, we are Mr. Expendable, mate. They will send us to Geelong every single year, and they don't care about us. It sucks. We're gonna go play at Geelong, half the stadium, because the other half is still being constructed, and only 24,000 people are going to be there. Guess how many Essendon supporters are going to be there? Probably like 4,000 people, and the rest of it is all Geelong. Play it at the G. Play it at the G, mate.
Yeah. Looking back to what Cheese was saying, yeah, tough ride being a North fan. Looks like Logue's ACL's done as well. I think we've only really got Aiden Core because Bonner is probably going to get delisted at the end of the year. So see you later, Bonner. So our backline is really Aiden Core, and then that's it. And he's not much of a player. So, yeah, it's kind of shitty. But hopefully the club can figure something out. Backline's been our biggest issue. The backline's been our biggest issue. And we've spoken about it off field as well, kind of. You do the back line almost first, but you do the back line. You make sure that's set. And your forward line can be crappy. Like, look at Melbourne. Their back line's like elite. Their forward line's better than average. But because they got the ball delivery, it doesn't matter. So, hopefully we can figure that out at some point soon. Exactly. Going to pull up the teams, Joe?
We will pull up the games now. Absolutely. I'm sitting here in the wings, ready to go to hit the ground running. We'll start with the very first game of the round, which was certainly in the Swans' favour until one Toby Nankervis came and said to Lloyd, not today, mate, and not for the next week at least, because he sent him flying into next week with that bump.
Has he been suspended yet? I know he's been sent off to the tribunal, but I wasn't actually sure if he's been properly suspended.
No, I don't think he has yet.
We covered it on the Fancast stream, just kind of the need for a red or a yellow card system. And I think Nankervis was there. The commentators didn't care that he had knocked someone out. They were more talking about how good his performance was because he knew he'd be missing out on a couple of weeks. So, yeah, it's a rough one. Best players for Richmond. Bolton, no one's got him in Supercoach, so it doesn't matter as much, but fantastic player. I still go on about how he was a trade target a couple of years ago and no one jumped on him. Dustin Martin, 131. Prestia, 100. Nankervis, 108. And then Goulden, who kind of has been continuing his meteoric performance over the last couple of weeks. 143, the only guy from Sydney to score that much. Mills, 99. Congratulations for those people that had the trades and could bring him on. And sad to say, Buddy a 90. So kicked 2 goals in what they're touting as being his last game at the MCG, because I don't think Swans are making finals the way they're going. And then, it's a bit sad.
It is a little bit sad. He had the game. He could have kicked the goal and won the game.
They should have won, but
he decided to go. He decided to go bunana, hit the belly of the ball, didn't make the correct connection. And you would have thought a guy who kicked over 1,000 goals would certainly know what to do in front of the big sticks, but he didn't. It was a big game, and you can tell by all of the 90s here that really it was a team effort by the Swans. They really tried. They worked their ass off together. Unfortunately, they couldn't get over the line. You're very correct, Cheese. Mills had a massive last quarter when the game was on the line, and he went bananas as you got there. He had a 50-point last quarter. So up until that point, I'm sure a lot of owners were like, God damn it, Callum. And then bang, he went bananas. So congratulations to all guys.
As an antipod, I was happy that he didn't do that well. But I think the one thing that really saved the Swans this week was the lack of behinds, because we know that kind of hurt them a lot last week. They were something like 9-18, and obviously having a higher goals to behinds ratio is fantastic, but didn't pull them over the line this week.
No, and this was the first time where young legend Angus Sheldrick had a poor game. You look at the first few weeks of scoring, you think this guy's a primo, but it was one he copped the knock, and you can see there's the bandage there. He had to be restrapped and returned in the first quarter. And when you got an ankle problem early in the game, it's hard to run with confidence, especially when you're all strapped up. So unfortunate for him, couldn't continue with his meteoric rise. but
Mm-hmm.
he'll be better for the run. He'll be fine. But yeah, massive win for the Tigers. Keeps their season alive.
Which was it, wasn't it? They were talking about on the radio saying, hey, whichever team won, they're doing all right. So
whichever team lost is basically done. And so this team, the Swans, having been in a premiership last year, once again, another team that gets belted in the granny. The next year, they go to shit. So the Swans, their season is basically over. So I hope what that doesn't mean for owners of Callum Mills, that because the season's over, that they start experimenting with the younger guys and having him play off the ball. So that's probably my one concern, given the circumstance that the Swans find themselves. Maybe it means they give more responsibility to a guy like Errol Goulden, perhaps, to have some more midfield minutes.
I mean, what are they going to do? Play Sheldrick more on the ball than what they have already?
Perhaps. You might have other youngsters in the VFL. The Swans are stacked with talent.
That's very true. All right, on to the next game, Joe.
He's asking, how do you boys feel about the Swans? Do you think they are dumb? They could be considered. Yeah, 100%. They are not being discussed enough, and I think a lot of people in the media are just simply, glazing over them because they've had quite a few injuries during the course of the year. So you know what I mean? Like it's really tough. I think. Yeah. I think they should be. Go.
No, keep going.
Go. I reckon they should be under scrutiny a lot more than what they have been thus far. You are very correct, Cheese.
Yeah, they've been pretty pathetic for a team that made the grand final last year. So make the grand final, and then you're not even going to make the finals, and you're probably going to finish bottom half of the season. Like, it's not great.
No, not at all. No. So, congrats to the Tigers, albeit in weird, naughty.
How you doing, Harry? Doing well. Hope you're doing well too.
Mate, I'm doing very well, especially when we get to the second last game of the round. I'll be very happy. All right, that's Tigers v Swans finished. We come to the next game. The Doggies, they challenged the Pies. They did. It was under the roof at Marvel Stadium.
It was competitive for 3.5 quarters.
Yeah.
Which is a lot more than some other teams have done.
Oh, 100%. Team English was really good, as is the case with 30 hitouts. Got less hitouts than Darcy Cameron, but you can see the disparity, 80 points for Cameron, whereas 130 for English. A lot more impactful around the ground with 17 touches and 6 marks. Congratulations to English. He is R1, and I am very sad I don't own him. Marcus Bontempelli doing Bontempelli things with 15 contested as well, if you don't mind. Only 4 clangers, so it definitely could have been better if he was more efficient. Only 58% disposal efficiency. Caleb Daniel, 32 touches. Yet again, bounced back from a poor score last week with 103, but I'm not sure anybody owns him. The only other relevant players, I think, for the Bulldogs would be Jack McRae. 25 touches, 8 marks, 2 tackles. You'd think this is better than an 81-point game, but alas, the guy is underscored a lot. Libba, 28 touches, 15 contested, 11 clearances. Absolute monster game for 75 points. Like, that is absolutely ridiculous.
Robbed Joe.
Right in front of me. Robbed. Channeling my inner Adelaide supporter. Caleb Poulter did all right. Second game for the Doggies. Kicked a nice important goal.
Against his former side too.
Correct. Against the former side. So well done to him. Treloar also against his former side. Look at that. 75 Dream Team for 52 Supercoach. 26 touches, but 7 clangers. That's a yikes. That's a big yikes.
I think it's one of the few games as well where Jack McRae actually scores more than Treloar. So it probably says a lot about how the performance did. On the Pies side, though, congratulations, Jen. Your team's dominating. Nick Dacos was my VC this week, so I was pretty happy with that score. Too good, mate. This kid's winning the Brownlow. If this kid's not, if somehow Dacos does not win the Brownlow, if he was still up for the Rising Star, he'd probably win that again too. Like, this is how good the kid is. Second year in the AFL, and he's putting up these numbers. Like, I know father-sons are broken, but sheesh, mate. De Goey 113. Josh Dacos as well, kind of spurred on by his brother. I know Nick's definitely carrying him along, but the chemistry they've got there is actually really important. Tom Mitchell 109, Quaynor 108, Darcy Moore 107. And then you kind of move down the list. So Pendlebury, congratulations, disposals record, which is fantastic. Darcy Cameron, you stink. I want you to get some more points, please. And then, going down a little bit more of the list, Jamie Elliott. So a guy also similar to, who did we speak about last game? Shai Bolton. Jamie Elliott was up for contract. People could have bid on him and bring him to their team. And now he's kicked another 4 goals. So, bloody fantastic from the Pies. And I think as well, Joe, another performance where the third and fourth quarter, the Pies actually came back and started winning. Something that they're very, very well known for this year.
They are adrenaline junkies. You know what I mean? Like they will throw themselves. I reckon in the preseason, they all jump on a plane and just skydive together because they're just the biggest adrenaline junkies. They have to be behind to make the game interesting for them. You know what I mean? They're like, it's ridiculous how they are able to run out the games. As you say, Cheese, Collingwood once again end up running over them. Someone drug test these boys. Because Jen, he had a slow first half, but it's literally just to give people a head start. So we're like, all right, we're going to hunt them down. So.
Well, we've spoken about them before being like, they plan their games this way. They literally plan it out. So they know, hey, when it comes big time, when it comes crunch time in the AFL, we've got enough gas in the tank and we've got the capacity to actually do this. A lot of teams don't do it, and I think it's a travesty. And we're seeing games like this where, Pies are well deserved of their ladder position this year.
Oh,
because no, it's not like they've had any easy wins, whatever. A lot of their games has been ones where they've lost at halftime and come back.
Yeah,
like the Dogs were winning on every metric from what we were watching the game. Everything they were winning, and then halftime came around and the Pies started coming back, and it was like, holy moly! What is this team? So very, very good game.
Absolutely. Theo's leaning towards a VC English into the Neil.
I'm sad that I didn't start English at the start of the year. It's one of my biggest regrets, alongside starting a crappy team and everything else. But no English really, really hurts.
No English. Rob's asking if we can have a quick look at his team with some thoughts. If not, all good. Well, I think we're going to try and power through these games. If we're and we're sort of aiming for about an hour for this stream tonight. If we get through them all and there's a bit of time left before the hour, then certainly I think easy, Rob, mate. Trelaw 52 with the game he had is crazy. Yeah, it's ridiculous. When you look at his points, it's not
7 clangers, mate. And they're probably really important clangers too. I know they're clangers, but if you turn over the ball and the opposition kick a goal, things like that. Aaron Hall's special, really. Get 30 touches and 15 of them are kicks out on the full. It's pretty rough.
Absolutely. Jen had Dacos VC, took his score. Of course you take us 139. Are you kidding me? Why would you not take a 139? But thank God you didn't bring in Bailey Sniff when I had the chance. This guy, I don't know what he's sniffing. Maybe some clouds because his head is up in the sky. He is
Do you think he gets traded at the end of the year? I think he almost needs a change of scenery. As good as he is at the Dogs, I think getting him in a new team and new surrounding would do him a world of good, Joe.
I think so. I think he has to. Clearly, it's not working over there. 36% disposal efficiency for 11 touches. What a fall from grace this guy. A fall from grace this guy has had. 100%. He probably has to change. I don't know. Bevo's not getting the best out of him, really.
Yeah.
So,
well, hopefully they can get best out of him at the trade table. Probably the big thing now.
Well, he hasn't helped this case right now, unfortunately. So, cool. That brings this game to a close. We move on to the next one, and it is a game. Bailey Smith should come to Collingwood, says Jen. Everyone should go to Collingwood. Take every player in the league, and then there's no more league. It's just it'll become the CFL.
To be honest, him at Collingwood would be fantastic because I think the change of scenery and having a structured team would really help. But the bias in me tells me I wish we could have him at North Melbourne. It won't happen, but I wish we could have him at North because we just need the injection of good talent. And he'd come in and be one of the more experienced players already. So, yeah, it's a tough one.
Who would Beverly Smith kick out of the team at Collingwood, though?
They'd throw him on the wing or have him as like an interchange player or something.
Fair.
Bit of a fall from grace, but
a big fall from grace.
Doesn't matter as much.
We get to this game, which I'm sure a lot of people were morbidly curious to see just how much Brisbane would pump the Eagles by at home. There was no Dunkley, but that did not ease people's expectations that the Lions were going to dominate, and they did. 36 scoring shots to 10, almost 4 times as many scoring shots. And they left, as you can see, clearly they left a lot of points out there on the field. This kid, Will Ashcroft, he is doing sensational things.
He's a very, very good player.
Especially at home. You know what I mean? Like, he's a different specimen. 28 touches with 7 tackles, if you don't mind. 11 contested for a junior. For a rookie in his first year, and this guy's racking up double-digit contested possessions.
And you know what he is, Joe? Father-son.
Yes, I know.
Exactly as I said. Father-sons, man. They're bred differently. It's these kids that they know from birth, like their dad knows, hey, if you've got any lick of football talent, you're going to come and play for the team that I played for. So I'm going to practice every day after school, all the time, work ethic as well. Yeah. Very, very, very good player.
Jeez, Brisbane vs Eagles was absolutely riveting. Wish we could have on next week as well.
Right. At least Brisbane didn't beat them by like 170 points like Sydney did.
They could have, though. They could have.
They could have, but they didn't. You know, it wasn't a competitive game, but it wasn't an absolute slaughter like we've seen the last couple of weeks.
16-20.
Yeah, I know.
20 points.
It is not a good stat, but it is a stat nonetheless.
Oh, mate, Lachie Neale, he is the Lion King as well whenever he played together, especially when there was no Dunkley. Him as a VC or a captain was really obvious, I think, for a lot of us. Probably one of the most popular options out there. Also high efficiency. Gunston, welcome back to the senior side. He dropped himself the other week. Why not when you can come back against the Eagles, have an easy kill, and work your way back into some form with 6 goals, 2 behinds, if you don't mind. Congratulations to him. Huey McCluggage just continuing to do his own thing. 20 disposals for 128 points is insane. Obviously supplemented by having 2 goals as well. Harris Andrews having a stellar season. He's got to be All-Australian again. He's been great in defense. Jared Lyons, back into the lineup. Congratulations to him. 29 disposals. Again, if you ever want to find your way getting some form again, just play against the Eagles at home and you'll be right. You know what I mean? Just play yourself back into form. Very well done. And Darcy Walmart still doing some good things for those. I don't know who else still owns the guy right now, but 89 points has been very impressive.
That week that I got rid of him and Ashcroft started the downhill spiral that just has destroyed my season. So, yeah.
He's leapfrog again over McKenna, 58 points. It's not a good stat, but it's a stat. It's almost like it is what it is. You know, it's almost like it is what it is. Jaden Hunt with the Seagull. Really? I thought that guy was more of a winger.
Yeah. I think, if you get 10 possessions on the West Coast team, you're probably their best player at the moment. So
15 marks. Jeez. All this cheapies. Jeremy McGovern subbed out once again. This guy can't catch a trick to save his life.
Yep. Yeah, it's not
good. Tom Sheed,
moving down the list, Witherden's probably the one to really watch out for because he's the player that they've got to build the list off. The guy that's supposed to be the successor to Shannon Hearn really needs to start stepping up his game, start stepping up the marks and the intercepts. Hopefully he can do that. But good to see the likes of Hewitt and Hoff and a few of these other kids coming through and actually doing something, which is fantastic.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Is it Hoff or Ho?
Hoff. I call it Hoff.
I like to call him Ho. But what's it called? Campbell Chesser with a 55. Is that his best for the year?
Yeah. I think he actually went up in price this week in Supercoach. So.
Congratulations, Chester!
Cash cow, cash cow, cash cow. Hey, what's up, Global? Hope you're doing well.
Globes. How's it going, mate? Ryan Marriage with a 44, despite not kicking a goal, was really impressive for him. Well done to him. And someone else has really fallen from grace. Look at this. Andrew Gaff. What is going on, bro? 6 touches. Are you kidding me?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. He's ever since he punched out Brayshaw, he's not been doing that well. I'll tell you what. Should have come to North Melbourne when you had the chance, but being stuck at I was going to say Adelaide, being stuck at Perth on like $1 million a year's got to be pretty good though. I mean, it's got paid probably 50 grand to play this game and only had 6 touches. You know, I'd do that. I'd play the AFL for. What did
on 83% time on ground? 83% time on ground. What the hell are you doing, bro?
Like, all right then.
No worries. Just sitting there smoking or something. Like, what the hell is going on? She's saying that they won't let Shannon Hearn retire because he's been impressive. He hasn't been impressive. That poor man is going to be playing till he's 78.
They've got no one else, so it's a tough one.
Yeah.
I don't know. Global Joe. Yeah, I depending on price, if we can get Ashcroft around that 500k mark and we see some real development during the off season, I think he could be a legit option for Supercoach next year. I mean, we had Dacos now, so it could be. He could definitely be that kind of real option. I haven't seen many games when Ashcroft's gone big and Neil and Dunkley has gone big, which I think is probably the biggest problem because they all play midfield. It's like 2 of those 3. But, yeah, we'll see what happens there. Could be a very good shout.
Yeah, if I hear in the preseason that this guy hasn't missed a beat in preseason, is continuing to go from strength to strength, is beating his all fitness goals and his time trials, then he's a genuine gun. As Cheese says, it depends if Fagan gives him the green light, more midfield time. Not too interested in him next year. Fair enough, Cheese. Fair enough. And that brings this game to a close. I think we've spoken about it. I think anything involving West Coast is probably too much talking.
Get it over and done with. You know, leave all those conversations to the Perth people.
Yeah, exactly. We get to GWS versus the Hawks. Very gallant performance by the Hawks. They really took it up to him. I'm going to talk about the Hawks first, I think, because they certainly lost no fans with this game. They took it up to him. They won in the center bounce clearances with their goals kicking out of the middle there, which is really impressive despite them having Cogs and Briggs. John Newcomb continuing to go from strength to strength. To think this guy was a mid-season pickup, unbelievable. 28 touches, 16 mother fishing contested possessions, 9 clearances. What a beast he is. 3 tackles.
He's been good, man.
Oh, he's a gun. Holy smokes. Will Day, I know you don't want to talk about him, but he's been a gun as well. 26 touches, 4 marks, 4 tackles as well. Could have been bigger if he kicked straight. 2 behinds. Well done to Will Day.
He's going to do really well this week too. Versus
North. I think so. Ned Reeves in the ruck. The best 10 disposable game he's probably ever played in his life for 107. A lot of hit out to advantage, that's for sure. That got him all those points. Carl Amon, one of the best wingers in the entire league, was not getting his move to the Hawks. I don't think got enough credit or attention that it deserves. He's an absolute gun, this guy. And you can see 27 touches there on 77% efficiency. Well done to Carl Amon. Nash, he's a good size, Connor Nash, playing in the midfield. Yeah. And again, winning the contested ball, 11 of them, 20 handballs out, 7 kicks.
Mm-hmm.
Dylan Moore likes to play that forward mid-roll, does it to perfection. He's a very good player with a 90. Warple with another respectable mid-pricer score on 89. For people who have Weddle, he's done well again with a 75. He's actually did better than Seamus Mitchell this week, who only scored 55. So it's almost like they take turns who is the better scorer out of these 2 players. So Weddle came up trumps this week. Fergus Green, 2 goals, 1. Congrats to him for 55 points. That sucks. Denver Granger Barras was someone that we spoke about not too long ago. First game back, and he kicked the goal playing forward. So the defender's he's been transformed into a forward now.
Yeah, speaking to a few people, some not prominent Hawks fans, but guys like Daz we've had on Fancast before. He's someone that needs to reinvent himself, otherwise he will get traded. And Hawks need a lot of help in that forward line too. Like Kaczynski kind of hasn't happened. Green's really the only option there outside Mitch Lewis. So kind of having like a third tall helps. And if you can't defend in the back line, I mean, when Sicily comes back, you want to play Granger Barras so you can find out what he's got for the rest of the season, right? Yeah. If he takes Sicily's spot, he's not putting Sicily out of a position next week. So, you've got to play him somewhere.
Love Cheese this one. No player gives me more anxiety than watching Will Day. Really? No one? No one, Cheese? Come on, mate.
Jack Zabel. Far out. This guy kicks it out on the full every third game.
Oh, maybe Darcy Cameron. Yeah, I reckon Darcy Cameron would be more heart, stress-inducing compared to Day. Mitch Lewis might be gettable. Or if he is, that would be really impressive. The guy's he's a great player. I don't think he'll leave the Hawks, to be honest. But if it entertains, people talking, I'd love to get him at the Bombers.
Mate, half a dozen teams. It comes down to those key position players, right? They're key position players because it's really hard to fill their spots when they're in a team. Mitch Lewis is one, and then half a dozen other forwards as well. When Aaron Norton comes up for trade period, he'll be someone that's talked about as well. And then all your defenders this year, they're just worth gold. It's really interesting. Like midfielders, if they're elite, really bring up a lot of money and bring up a lot of trade period and things like that. But if you're just a key position player and you're half decent, people are throwing $1 million at you.
Yeah, for sure. Mate, look at the other side of the ledger. What is this?
Yeah. Kelly, nothing. Tom Green had a shitty game too. Both Greens did. Lockie Whitfield did. Callum Ward did. Himmelberg was the best one, really. Buckley there. GWS won. But they won with a slog, man. They slogged this game out. They were like what was that, nose to the grindstone, like bit of Clayton Oliver style there to get the job done.
Clayton Oliver might be without a nose though, with all that sniffing around perhaps. But mate, this guy, like he gets delayed disposals very regularly, doesn't he?
Yes.
For not much reward.
Well, I mean, he only went at 60%. So that's the issue, is that he'll have games like this regularly, but if he doesn't kick 3 goals, he'll have scored like an 80 or a 70.
Probably.
Which is really the sad thing for him and for owners like us. I probably won't start him next year unless he's like 400K.
Yeah, 100%. I'm not starting this guy either. Kieran Briggs, what a star. I love this guy, honestly.
Yeah. No, I love Kieran Briggs.
What a star. All right. Are we done talking about this game?
Yeah, next game, Joe.
Next game. We go to the Saints, who were very, very gallant in defeat. Oh, there you go. Yes, Cheese is saying McGuinness was wearing Kelly like a wet blanket, was probably the most brutal tagger of the year. 100%. Only had 6 touches. Kelly,
and he's going to be in a team that's developing, that's going to be playing very well for a very long time. So having a couple of taggers like that you can have, it's what made GWS so strong when De Boer was in. And they've obviously carried that across to their team as well.
Yeah, exactly. So well done to Finn McGuinness, and well done to Sam Mitchell for identifying Kelly as the really important ball user. And that's why the game was so close.
Canelio just shanks it. That's why.
Exactly. Who gives a shit about Canelio? He's a freaking rabbit.
Yeah.
No, but these guys, they put in a massive fight against the Demons. I mean, look at this. The trio of red crosses, and they all took place very early.
Mm-hmm.
Max King, 1% game time. Seb Ross, 6% game time. And Cordy, 29% game time. So, for them to be that close was insane.
Injuries are keeping Cameron a job, really, because he didn't kick any goals this week. I think it's one of the few times when he hasn't. Max King's out for the rest of the year. I'm not sure about Ross and Cordy, but it's a tough loss, man. Really tough loss. Speaking to John O'Carroll last night as well. Bit of a tough one. Rowan Marshall, close to his best game of the year and didn't kick a goal. Jack Steele, I hate your guts. Isaiah Wanganeen Miller, I hate your guts too. Jack Sinclair, you did all right. I'm happy. The rest of you guys, Jack Billings needs a new team. That's all I can say.
Yeah, look, for those who went Winhager, listen to me. You got Winhager. He's 75, decent mid forward cover, with 90% game time. So they really trust him, and his job security is just well and truly rock solid, especially with all those injuries in the side. The only thing keeping him out of a game is injury, really. So if he was to get injured or suspended, but as you say, Cheese, those injuries were brutal. And for them to continue pressing and pushing hard, and really they matched them in just about every single metric except for the scoreboard. That was literally the only thing that separated them, and they did not have a guy like Petrarca. Really. Like, if the Saints had a guy like Petrarca on the team, then they would have won. But this man was the difference. Everything he did was super vital, super crucial. He only had 60% disposal efficiency, but 4 goals in what was a really tight contest where the margin was less than 4 goals. He really was a match winner, as was this man, Stephen May. They lost King early, but they continued to play the same way as if King was there. The long bombs just wasn't working, and Stephen May absolutely ate all of it for breakfast. It was the Great Wall of May. The Great Wall of May, unfortunately. 12 marks, 8 also intercepts. So it was tough watching for the Saints. They tried their asses. Like Rowan Marshall, I reckon he smashed the Gordon Grundy combination. Rowan Marshall was sensational that game. It's a shame they couldn't get the dub for him or for Steele, who's back to form. I mean,
and they're going to be relying on those two as well without King in the team. And other teams getting a lot better. Like, I think there's something to be said about form at the start of the year versus now, which obviously start of the year is a little bit different, right? But guys like Steele being kind of into form how they are at this point in the season are the ones that are really going to carry them, because there's not going to be that whole element of, teams are not teams. Teams are kind of getting, they warm up at the start of the year. Clubs can beat other clubs in the first handful of games. Not saying St Kilda's done that, but they did. So it's up to those real established, mature ages like Marshall and Steele to cover the team without having Max King to run the ball through that midfield. And there's still a chance they can make finals. So it's not it's not out of the woods. Yeah,
for sure. So it's going to be interesting. I think the Demons have done enough to cement themselves a top 4 berth at this point. There's a bit of a gap between the top 4 and the rest. They're a game ahead of us, and we're in 5th. And I think our run is much harder than Melbourne. So this was a danger game for Melbourne, and they managed to clinch it. So congrats to all the Demon supporters out there. We'll move on to the next game. And this was interesting for a period of time. The Suns came out with gusto. They were playing for their coach. They were fighting away at Adelaide Oval, and they were in front. They gave them a real shake halftime. But these guys are a juggernaut now.
Port are very hard to beat. It's going to take a very special team on a very special day to actually beat them on field. Hopefully it happens before the season is over, because I would hate for them to lose crucial games in the finals. But I can see it happening. So we'll kind of see what happens with them. But Port Adelaide, man. Ken Hinkley, for a guy that started off not that well, has really come home, and people wanted his head, Joe. Remember the Sack Hinkley posters that were up around at the ground? So, that guy needs to jump off his horse and say sorry, really.
His position was untenable, they said. Untenable. Verbatim is what they said. Oh, my God. Now you watch them. They're absolutely flying. Hottest team in the comp. Jeremy Finlayson, 3 goals, 4. Jeez, he could have unleashed a lot more havoc on this game. Ollie Wines, 26 disposals for 110 because they were contested, mate. 15 contested. Connor Rozee, he had a beautiful dribbling goal in the pocket. Well done to him. Sensational superstar. he actually managed to do a bit better than Zach Butters, who was a bit disappointing this game. Only scored 81 off 22 disposals. I feel like his last 2 weeks, Rosie has sort of gone up a step and is really not all about Butters. Butters was all the rage. Everyone was talking about Butters earlier in the year, but it just feels like these last few weeks, Rosie has been elevating himself and brought himself up to Butters' stardom, I guess.
Yeah, it's interesting too because I don't know if it's a case of teams focusing him a little bit more or if it's just natural progression and he's kind of waning down. But yeah, as you say, Rosie's kind of picked up the mantle. This week we saw Wines doing a similar thing as well. The big thing with Port's team, though, is that no one's really had a massive score. Like, it's not like we see with the Brisbane, who would be in a similar position where, or a 140 or 150. Like, they're still playing that unselfish brand of football, which is fantastic. Yeah.
100%.
Versus like a Gold Coast. You look at a Gold Coast, like 131. There's no one even close to that on Port's team.
Yeah. Dan Houston had a massive week last week. Bit back down at 85. Look at Sam Flanders. I know, right? We're gonna get to them. We're gonna get to him, but Zach Butters, as we said, Houston came back down to earth a bit after them being on cloud 9, breaking our hearts. Back to an 85. You can't trust this guy to continuously pump out big scores for you. Will Drew, 76, was tagging Matt Rowell and clearly did not do a great job about it. It's got 101.
Yeah, I don't know how you tag Matt Rowell. But,
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's ridiculous. And then, everybody else here is a bit of a role player. Horn Francis scored 36. Probably, again, he's had a bad couple of weeks. Don't know what maybe he's at a wall this year. Second year Blues. Dill Williams, 67. Not bad. Man, I wish we had this guy. I wish we started this guy. Damn you, Hinkley, for dropping him.
I think that going back to the Horn Francis comment, I think it's just a case of Port's team is so good that it doesn't rely on like 3 or 4 players to do well. You can have bad games to Rosie, to Butters, to Horn Francis, heck, even Quinton Narkle and other players, and they still do really well across the board. So as a player gets tagged or whatever, other players stand up. And that's
Horn Francis only had 64% time on ground.
Yeah.
That's pretty low.
They still won. Imagine if like a Zach Merritt or a Hobbs or someone only had that kind of score for Essendon. Like, you'd be struggle town, whereas they're like, yeah, no worries, mate. We're good.
Fair enough.
We've got this.
A lot of talk about English and Ruckman and happening in the comments there. Speaking of Ruckman, freaking Jared Witts, 121, 44 hit-outs if you don't mind. Definitely took advantage of the fact that they don't have a recognised Ruckman at Port.
Port don't care, which is the thing similar to Collingwood. Port don't care. Port will happily let Jared Witts get 44 touches. All they need to do is mark the player that he's hitting to. All they have to do. They say, yep, you can take him. You can take the hit-outs. We don't mind. We'll just cover everything else. That's it.
Exactly. Yeah. Noah Anderson, 131. Absolute. This guy is a warrior. Him, Rowell, trying to carry this team. They bust their asses every single week. 29 touches with 6 tackles, if you don't mind. 17 contested. I love to see this. 15 contested for Rowell. And then Flanders. What the fish is this, bro? Where did this come from? Huh? Where did this come from, bro?
Yeah, I don't know. It's
with
these
2
weird
Miller
players.
at the side.
It's like Nazaya Wanganeen, right? It's these weird players that we knew had the capacity to play well, and now they're actually doing that. Like now, it's frustrating.
What the hell is going on? Rory Atkins, even Ratkins got an 86, was not too bad. Not Bailey Humphrey with a 60. Should have taken that score, not too bad. And then Ben King, oh boy. 1 point for 1 kick.
Yeah.
And that 1 kick was a clanger. Oh my god. I can't believe he's not on negative.
Yeah, maybe we'll do kind of a talk about it in a few years' time, but we might do a segment on are the King brothers overrated or kind of has their career been a bit of a flop? Because I remember when they came out and they were talking about generational key forwards and these guys are going to be the best players since sliced bread and everything else. And like their respective teams really haven't struggled with them not playing well. So I'm not sure, Joe.
Mate, look at Chasey. Has been even that good? Once in half a game. He was down there a lot in the first half. Please stay away from Essendon. Look, I think if Zach Merritt is kicking the ball to him, he'll be fine.
There's a difference. It's the ball use, but fantastic to see Tuke Miller back.
For sure.
From injury, like 8 weeks of being injured. So, fantastic to see him back.
20 touches, first game and a goal. You know what I mean? Like 69% time on ground. So well done to him. Very, very, very impressive. He'll be better for the run, without a doubt. Alrighty. We go to the next game.
3 games to go.
Big Gage, this was a bigger smashing.
It wasn't as bad as West Coast, which was surprising because we were shocking. They had like 52 points to 6 or something at halftime. Not even halftime, at quarter time. I've spoken before, and I spoke last night about teams really pulling back against North Melbourne, letting us kind of bring the scoring back so it's not like we're getting smashed by 100 points. But losing Griffin Logue really hurt. He was our staple down back, and Jack Siebel's not the defender he used to be, and then Jai Simpkin kind of went out at half time, and then everything just fell apart. I mean, it kind of fell apart before, but we have no key defenders, and we've lost the key defender that we've got. So,
and you lost Ward, and you lost Wardlaw before the game.
Yep, and Wardlaw before the game too. So that wasn't great. Ben Mackay did all right this week, which congrats to him. Really looks good. Just going to look good in another team's colours next year, but it was all Geelong. Like it was all just Geelong. So,
You know it's all Geelong when Tanner Bruin scores 100 points, the flog.
Yeah, that's it. And Stengel kicked 5. North's inability to stop small forwards is a real issue, and I hope Clarko can fix that over the next couple of years through drafting and shrewd trading. But, they had 8 goals from small defenders this week. Close and Tyson Stengel. Pacey players that we just can't stop. So, it was a rough one.
Chase is asking if you like what you saw from Cherry.
He looked okay, but if you know Geelong, they just don't have rucks. So it's kind of the Wits situation, right? They put up someone who's half competitive, okay. But, I still don't... I'm not convinced that he's going to be the Goldie successor. But the way Goldie's going, apparently, we're hesitant to give him another year. And he wants at least another year. So, it's going to be an interesting situation to see what happens closer to the season finishing. Cherry has to play between now and then, so we have some idea. I would have loved to see Hamish Free come in, but I think North Melbourne's desperate for one of those, 210 centimetre players. Someone who's good, even if it's a VFL ruckman, someone like that, to come in who's kind of that taller than 200 centimetre guy. Because you've got 200 centimetres versus like a 2 or 8 centimetre player, and they just get dominated every day of the week.
Causa, how's it going, mate? You came right on time talking about North Melbourne, mate. Tommy Stewart.
You've joined at the right time because we're bagging North Melbourne.
Well, we're not bagging North. We're asking questions. In this situation, that's Mitch Duncan was back doing his typical stealing from Stewart, routine.
Well, Stewart actually got moved to the middle. So, Eddie Ford was doing okay. And then Tom Stewart got moved to the middle to kind of stop Eddie Ford, which I found was very interesting. But, I guess it's to boost up his Supercoach score too, because the ball was never in their back line.
Yeah, exactly. Causa saying that Hamish Free is injured at the moment, which is why he didn't play. Jonas, I heard a rumor Jack Siebel has a new role, might be playing for the Roos AFLW.
He's not playing for the VFL team. He's going to coach the VFL team. I think it kind of got a bit spoiled today, which wasn't a great thing, but I'm pretty sure that Siebel's going to hang up the boots at the end of the year, and then start his kind of coaching career with our VFL team and moving their way on from there. So, Body just kind of can't handle it. I think that's partly why he's been the sub. Unfortunately, he had to come in, 2 minutes into the game this week. But, I truly think he's probably done, which adds to our defensive woes because it really is just going to be Aiden Cole and then 5 or 6 new defenders. Because
leave Sheasel in there.
Well, that's the problem, though. Like, I love Sheasel, but he's a ball user. He's not a tackler, right? So we need guys who can stop opposition in our defense. We've got positions and players who can do well with the ball, but we just don't have guys who can really do the tackling. We can't nullify opposition players. So, yeah, we need to do a recruitment drive, kind of how Geelong did, grabbing SDS and then grabbing Guthrie and a couple of these other really tall interceptors. If Callan Dawson doesn't come in this week, he's going to be done too. And then there's another failed, project player in that defensive mold. So, yeah, it's going to be rough.
Yeah, but you got LDU, and LDU's flying, mate. 28 touches, 8 tackles. Here's someone who can tackle. 2 goals as well.
Yeah, I know, but is he a defender, Joe? No. Like,
doesn't matter.
He can't. He's not a defender.
Doesn't matter. Win the ball at the source, and they'll never need defenders. Just one-way traffic.
It just doesn't matter. I love it.
One-way traffic, mate. It's all about the pressure on the ball carrier. Put pressure on the ball carrier, and they won't hit up leading targets. It is how the new modern-day defending works. He does look fantastic, mate. If he's cheap enough next year, will be in my side.
I won't touch him.
Really? Why?
You don't pick midfielders on teams that are going to be bottom of the ladder again. It just doesn't work. We're not going to be winning any of the ball. He won't be getting many hit outs to advantage, things like that. So there's going to be better players.
I'm saying for the price. For the price. If the price is right.
If it's 200K, you probably pick him. But
200K.
If anyone's 200K, you probably pick him too, right?
200K, he says. Atkins 120. He's the true best. He's the good Atkins, not the other Ratkins.
Mm-hmm.
Tanner Bruin, flog. Bose.
And you know what, Joe? He's also got a chin. So,
he's got a chin. Bose is a flog. Dangerfield 79 points. Not doing great. Hawkins with 3 goals, 1, and still only 78. I'm nervous for this week. He's going to freaking kick a bag as well.
Cameron's back.
Cameron back.
You're in a spot of bother.
Bit of strife, mate. Bit of strife. That's why I'm enjoying the win that went past just now, so that because I'm going to be crying next week.
Coming up next.
We will talk about it. Asava 43. Yeah, he's probably going to be gone next year. And Mullen 38. Not too bad for someone who hardly had the ball in the back line. So, yeah, that was the game. Eddie Ford playing small forward, was he?
Oh, players are playing somewhere. Asava's one of those players too. I know we've spoken a little bit about it, but if you're tall in the AFL and you can play okay, like people are going to pay up for you. So Geelong will get a 2nd round pick for Asava leaving, which is insane. It's absolutely insane.
Exactly. And then you got Cooper Harvey. Congratulations on a decent first outing for him.
5 contested possessions or something, which was good. 6. Yeah, it's not bad first game.
No, absolutely not. So hopefully the start of a nice, successful, long career for him.
Yeah, another Harvey in the AFL. So
another Harvey in the AFL is a wonderful, wonderful thing. Alrighty, we come to the best game of the week. Let's go. I even featured on TV. I don't know which quarter it was, but
Can you pull it up
briefly.
Can you pull it up, Joe?
I don't know.
Can you do like Facebook chat on your face, like on your computer? Pull it up.
Yeah, I can. I was picked up. I don't know. Some people. One guy messaged me and he was just like, "Oi, Joe, were you at the footy last night?" I'm
Found
like,
you
why?
on the TV.
Like, I could have sworn I saw you on TV. So let me just pull this up over here if you guys can see it, and then I'll press play, and then
there he is. I see him.
Right here, right there.
That's Joe.
There I am. Very happy. Very clapping away. Very happy with myself. Clapping away.
Nice work. That's pretty good, man. Look at that.
Took me out there.
Yeah.
The quality was terrible, as you can see. Bloody absolute potato pixels, but still managed to pick me up. So great game. Absolutely. 100% cheese. Up the freaking Dons, mate. That was a wonderful game for us. And of course, it is so classic for Jezza Cameron to return against us. And Ridley is probably out. It's not guaranteed out, but it's probably out. So that's very disappointing. But Zach Merritt, I reckon this guy should well and truly be in contention for All-Australian captain.
Yeah.
I know Moore probably has a foot in the door already for that role, but I just feel in terms of transformation between the previous captain and the current captain and the way we are playing this year under this guy, Collingwood did not transform as much from moving the captaincy from Pendlebury to Moore. But the difference that we're seeing out of Essendon under Merritt compared to under Heppel is very different. And I think this guy's performances have been absolutely incredible. 39 disposals. He's such a great ball user. He's so dominant. He's so damaging with it. Peter, you see a lot of disposals for Darcy Parish, but I know which player I'm more worried about having the ball in their hands.
Are a lot better.
They are.
Yeah.
And he even kicked a wonderful goal. He had the open goal square. The merit of the pass before becoming captain would have hit up a lead. But as captain, he saw open goal square and he's like, I'm going to take this. I'm going to take responsibility. And he nailed that shot. So, Zach Merritt, I love you.
What would you rather have, Lockie Neal or Zach Merritt in your team? Obviously, like, forgetting the Essendon bias, right? Because he's obviously
hard to forget the Essendon bias, mate. It's very hard.
Which one would you rather have? If you're building a team from the ground up, would you rather have Lockie Neal in your team or Zach Merritt?
They're both sensational players. Obviously, Neal is a Brownlow medalist. It's very hard to go past. Eventually. I feel he could have been, but he's been freaking done for a dangerous tackle, which was stupid. So he's been
not this year. Not this year. He won't get one this year, but he'll get one. Eventually,
you'd hope so. You'd hope so. Look, I think better ball. Like Neal is a very clean contested ball winner. But there's a lot of them out there. You know what I mean? You can have a guy like Libba, a guy like Dunkley. There's heaps of great contested ball winners out there that are great below their knees. Whereas in terms of the great ball users and accumulators in the competition, I don't think there are too many out there. So I reckon I'd lean towards Zach Merritt simply based on that niche skill set. The best players, I think, are the ones that are able to be really clean and clinical with their possession, as well as run both ways. Because it's not just about disposals for Zach, it's also the tackling. 6 tackles. He's a great tackler. He can hit the scoreboard just like Neal can. He can get contested possessions just like Neal can. So Zach Merritt, I like the ball use. I need a player who can actually kick the football to be on my team, I think. So I'd go Zach Merritt. Peter Wright, we targeted him a lot this game. 3 goals, 3, not bad. Could have been a bit better. Nick Martin, 28 disposals. Compared to the other players, he fairly went under the radar, and yet 28 disposals. What an absolute superstar. Nick Martin. To think this guy, again, was overlooked in 3 or 4 drafts, it's insane. With 9 marks, 2 goals. He's up there among the wingers of the competition. Darcy Parish, I reckon he's staying. He's out there after the game, coming up to Zach and hugging him from behind. Darcy's staying. All the love.
He's saying, thanks for the game. See you later, mate.
Yeah, I know, right? Matt Guelphy, mate, great forward pressure. Loved what he brought today. Was rewarded with 101 for 8 touches. That's ridiculous. That is such an amazing game by him. Dyson Heppel, I have to say that I was wrong about this, man. I honestly thought towards the start of the season that Dyson Heppel was done, that he's finished, that he's cooked and he's gone. But he has proved me very, very wrong. This last month, just over a month, I'd say he's been sensational, Dyson Heppel. Yeah. Among our best. Ridley went down with an injury. Redmond had to go off the ground for an injury. Our backline was undermanned. But this guy took quite a few intercept marks for us. The holes was so important for us. I got massive respect for Dyson Heppel. And there was footage of him during the game, at the end of the game, having time with the fans, some kids in the stands. So he's a good man, Dyson Heppel. One of the great blokes of the AFL. And I'm glad he's playing well.
He's kind of that old school mold of captain. I know Jack Zeebel's a similar type of player. Like these guys in crucial moments will step up. Yes, they might have had a couple of shitty weeks in a row, but when you need them, they'll do really well. That's always it. Sounds like that a little bit for you, right? Apple's a bit like that kind of player.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, Ben Hobbs absolutely killed it, especially in the first half. The second half, he definitely faded away. Only had 65% game time for Ben Hobbs. So yet again, I think he's got a fitness problem. He's had low time on ground the last few weeks, so I think he clearly has a fitness issue. Hopefully, another preseason under his belt will have him take that next step and play more consistently. Yeah, Jonas, Darcy Moore here, Brendan. It's not you can't. You can say that, but Darcy Moore has genuinely been one of the best players out there. He's been a sensational captain for the Pies, but I do think that more discussion has to be had about Zach Merritt compared to him.
Well, I think Darcy Moore's stats have just been padded as well, right? Because teams are just giving him the ball. So, look, he had 15 intercepts. Yeah, because they kicked the ball to him.
Correct.
So, like it's a tough thing to kind of go past as a player, but also someone watching the game. You say see that why they're talking about him.
You say that, and Jonas agrees, but saying that about Essendon, about Merritt, that he's always left alone by the opposition. Why don't the other teams rate him?
Do you think that's a thing? Like teams think that Parrish is more effective with the ball, or do you think that why do they go? They always seem to leave Merritt alone, but they'll tag someone else in the team. Why is that, Joe?
I think it's actually. I don't think it's been many people. I think most people are tagging in general these days.
Well, there's attention, though, right? Players get attention.
Only at the stoppages. But the thing with Merritt, though, is Merritt, he's quite quick in bursts. So it's really hard to stick with him. He has a quick first few steps to clear away, and his game is more outside anyway. He won't take it and try and bust tackles. When he's in close, he'll use his speed to get to the drop of the ball first and then quickly feed it out before he can be tackled. He is such an elite ball user that he doesn't need a lot of time to pull a kick and hit a target. So I think a lot of teams have basically given up trying to put attention into him. Carlton was a team that did try to put attention to him. They brought Ed Curnow specifically into their side that week to tag Merritt. What did we do? We sent Merritt forward, and it completely changed the complexion of our team because Merritt can play as a decent forward. He's a great kick in front of goal, and we now have enough mids to cover. We have the rise of Hobbs. We've got Perkins. We've got Caldwell. We got Darcy Parish. So we don't need Merritt to be doing all the grunt work in the middle. He's just a gun player. Wherever you play him, he'll be fine.
Yeah, good talking there.
Thank you. But yeah, it was a great game. Rids was very nerve-wracking about him. It looked like it was ACL, but it's only bone bruising, thank God, which means that he has a chance to play this week. And by God, we need him this week up against the Jazza Cameron-led Cats. Langers, I talked about it on Fancast a couple of weeks ago, that this guy is definitely underrated, going under the radar. The next week, you see Lee Montagna on First Crack talk about how he is the most underrated star in the competition.
Mate. That's what he's doing.
He is, mate. 3 goals. Absolute superstar for Langers. And Phillips is going to be suspended. It's okay. Geelong don't have any ruckman anyway. And Dylan Shield, I think he needs to go VFL. Dylan Shield has been overtaken. He is not best 22, which sucks for someone who we paid 2 first-round picks for, but he's not best 22 anymore.
I think that's really telling of where the team is, and I think if that was my team and, I had like a Hugh Greenwood or a Ben Cunnington who was fit or someone there who couldn't make the team every week, I would be so happy because it's like, hey, this is how well we're doing. That like a fantastic player like that. Yes, he has been coming back from injury and hasn't been as good as a player, but the quality of game he can play. So for him not to be best 22s, it's showing good signs.
Yeah, for sure. No, I agree. I know Jonas here was saying that Tex Walker should be the captain, not these puff boys not these pretty boys, as he's saying. Look, Tex Walker at this age is still a force. He is a force. He's a gun.
Yeah, but outside of kind of the racism saga and things like that, which I think has kind of stopped him from ever being the captain again, Jordan Dawson came into that team. His not first week, but first year in the team, he was named the captain. Like that's how good second year. So that's how good this player is, and that's how good his leadership is on field. You need a captain that can carry a game, and he does that off his back every single week. Obviously, against you guys, not as much, but yeah, he's very, very good.
Yeah, for sure. Jordan Dawson, 28 touches, man. He was a gun. He certainly worked his way into the game, especially because when we were dominating, they moved him behind the ball to start taking a lot of intercept marks because we were just killing him. So they had to go behind the ball before working his way back up. Rory led 31 touches for 117. Just was not his usual self, was not dominant, was not very impactful. Managed to bolster some scoring up with his 9 tackles, 5 clangers, and that's a lot to do with the pressure that we were putting on the ball carrier in the game. Rob, I thought Rob had a better game than this. He certainly was really good around the ground. 14 touches with 3 marks. It felt like he had a bit of a presence with 40 hitouts, if you don't mind. 107, decent performance from him. Mitch Hinge, 98. He had a lot of the ball in the back line. we smashed him in inside 50s. So he wasn't a bit. He had a lot of supply. Ben Keys, 2 goals for Ben Keys. 20 touches, 82 points.
Apparently, his CBAs have really fallen off as well. Something to be careful of the last couple of weeks. Some Ben Keys CBAs. So hopefully it doesn't affect him too much, but it could be a reason why this week he only scored an 80. I'm not sure if someone else is pinching his spot.
Yeah, as you say, Chase, most of those hitouts did go to us. I mean, we certainly were. Our midfield was certainly on top in that game. Chase Jones, again, a defender with a lot of hands, a lot of the ball in his hands. Brody Smith, same. Rankin could have done more. One of these goals was a freakish hack out of midair. Very impressive. Rochelle trying to take the game on, but it was just too few efforts and far between. I thought, and especially in that first half, when the game was basically over, we absolutely dominated them, and none of these guys, especially Thilthorpe, he was owned by a small opponent in Laverty who gave him an absolute bath. So it was a great game by us. Bad game for the Crows. They struggle to play away from home.
100%.
Is basically what I have to say. Duke was asking us, do you guys reckon it's worth going from 300 trades to 1 to get Sheasel to Sicily?
I think so. Sheasel's definitely fallen off and Sicily's doing well. It's just a case of if you don't have bench cover, I'd probably do it. There's a few options around that price, but Sicily's only going to drop. Sorry, Sheasel's only going to drop in value. Yeah. Sicily should go massive against us this week. You're not losing anything by going the different player.
Yeah, for sure. Cool. So we go now to the final game of the round, the Dockers versus the Blues. The Blues are mounting a case for finals.
Yeah, they're looking better. I know the Blue Abroad guys are having fun with it, but they're definitely looking a lot better. They're doing well. They're pushing. They're pushing. They're not in the top 8 yet, but they're getting there.
It helps when you're playing against some weak opposition. They played against the Suns. Then they played against the Hawks. They've now played against the Blues. Against the Buckers,
play against though.
Of course. But it certainly helps them to find some form, to find some confidence again. To sort of bounce back and mount a push for finals. Sometimes being the hunted, it's not a great feeling. Whereas if you're the hunter trying to, make your way up into finals, the motivation, the season's not over, that hope, the optimism, it can do a lot of things. And especially when you got big Harry Mackay kicking 3 goals, 2 could have been 5. Big Charlie Kerner kicking 3 goals, 2 also could have been 5. So when your tall timber is firing, it's really exciting.
Yeah, and that's always been the big issue for them, is just getting getting those two players up and going. Once they're up and going, they're very hard to beat. They're a team, I think, that focuses a little bit too much on those two players, which has hurt them in the past just due to form. Like, if you've got a team that can stop them. But looking at Frio's list, like, I don't think there's really been a big change to their defensive stocks. So why couldn't they stop them? There's a reason why Luke Ryan's on 170. Why Hayden Young's on 103 while Jordan Clark's on a good score. Brennan Cox is probably the one that kind of faltered in that list. But yeah, kick it to the key forwards.
Yeah, exactly. And they haven't been able to go fast. It seems like in recent times, they've certainly been going faster. Sam Walsh back in the team has a few more runs under his belt now. He's certainly flying, 32 disposals, 13 contested. Paddy Cripps seems to be back, not kicking the ball, just simply winning the ball at the source. 17 contested, 10 clearances.
Yep.
Monster performance. So it looks like Cripps is back.
Yeah, definitely. There's a lot of these players, like guys that potentially you could have held in Supercoach, but that have just like decided, oh, now I'm a football player again. Thanks.
Yeah, I know, right? The same thing with Doherty, 28 disposals, 8 marks, like 1 goal, 1. You know what I mean?
It's frustrating.
Far out. Where was this before, man? You know what I mean? Like, so even Saad got 100. So it's, you just see it. Once the team is going well and performing, and got its tail up, and all of a sudden, football's not so hard anymore, and you have a lot of these players start to score really well. Like Mitch McGovern once again injured, typical Mitch McGovern. Matt Kennedy injured as well, typical for him as well. So like, it's some people are just always injury prone, and you sort of tend to expect that to happen. But yeah, as Mate Jonas is saying, apparently Port are banged up. If the Blue Baggers win against Port this week, oh my God.
Hey, Blue Broad's going to go off. If they win against Port, tune in, because they're going to flip the shit.
They will flip the shit. Absolutely. And I reckon if they beat Port, then Carlton play finals.
Yeah. I could probably say something similar to that.
Luke Ryan, mate. Can't believe Chase brought in Luke Ryan. He's gone bananas. He's gone absolutely bananas. He had like 5 games, like intercept marks. He must have BO.
We were promoting him on the stream the other day. They were promoting him on the stream the other day, saying, hey, bring this guy in. Like at 500K, he's definitely worth the money. And obviously, he's done that again. So, yeah, not too crazy, Joe.
No, not too crazy, I guess. It's Jonas. Every time Freo has lost, they lost the clearances. Big dopey Shrek hitouts to nowhere. Maybe. You look at that, 58 hitouts.
Yeah, that's what he does.
That's ridiculous.
But look, it's the same. It's the same problem as what Port do. It's the same thing that Collingwood do. They'll let an opposition ruckman get all the hitouts. The good teams can do that. They know that, hey, we don't have a ruck, so we'll just put our tall player there. Like Carlton got what? 18 hitouts in total for a game. Sean Darcy got that like on his lunch break. So yeah, it's if you can just know where they're going to hit the ball to, nullify that, you're doing very well.
Yeah. Luke Ryan. So Luke Ryan had a massive game. 30 kicks, 5 handballs. So that's a sensational kick to handball ratio. Sean Darcy obviously went huge. Andy Brayshaw, 107. So 32 touches for 107 is not ideal for someone who had 17 contested possessions. You certainly hope that he can give you more than that, but he's playing all right. Hayden Young, 103. He's not going to be in my defense anytime soon. O'Meara, 93. Decent score for him. Sarong with a 90, and has been suspended, offered 1 week suspension. I don't know if they're going to appeal that or not.
Surely they appeal.
They have to, because if they lose, then they're officially done for the year. They need him. He's really important for him. Liam Henry, again, on a wing, 20 disposals. He's been sensational for him on that wing. Well done to him. Apparently, he might be on the move. Could be going to North.
Mate, we need every player that will come to us. I don't care. Like, tell your grandma she's coming to North Melbourne.
To start cooking for you people. Here, eat.
Hey,
it's
we
very
need
nice.
someone to cook, because North's got nobody that's cooking at the moment. So we need
You're all getting cooked.
Yeah, we are
The problem is, if my grandma goes, she might start cooking your players because they're all cooked at this point.
Hey, that's fine. At least they get
Matty
fed.
Johnson. Matty Johnson, mate. What happened here?
Yeah,
44%.
it's a real shame. It was my bench cover. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to work out what to do. I really don't want to bring Will Day back. I might go Doherty just for the spite of not bringing Will Day back, but yeah, it's a tough one.
That's pretty
Will
funny.
Day against North, you know he's going to go like 800. You know it's just going to happen.
Might.
Yeah. Especially how
Duke
bad
is
we
asking,
are at the moment.
Yeah, Duke is asking Banks or Harvey.
I think you got to pick Harvey. Harvey should play.
Yep, you heard it from him. 58 to 18 headouts is ridiculous. Yeah, I know. It's just him alone, 58. Don't count Jackson's 11 and Tracy's 1. So it should be actually.
Yeah. No, it was 50, it was 18 to 70.
Yeah.
18 to 70. And they still won. So they won easy too. They won easy.
Absolutely. North couldn't even cook up prison food at the moment.
Yeah. Yep, that's us.
Jonas. North might hire Dennis Pagan to bring in some recycled duds.
Whatever works, man. I think this year, I know Jonas is having fun and whatever, but that's all right. But I think this year we really need to have a look at the coaching staff and a lot of those established players who are like, oh, I was a former player at North Melbourne. I'm going to bring the shin bonus. But I'm like, no, you're bringing a win-loss ratio of 5%. You've won 5% of the games since you've been coach. See you later. I don't care anymore. Those players need to go. So
you don't need another coach because Clarko will be back.
No, but coaching staff across the board, Joe. Our defensive coach has a win-loss ratio of 2%. No wonder we're getting slaughtered. He doesn't know how to defend anymore. He just knows how to collect a paycheck. He's on Centrelink. When North Melbourne's turned into Centrelink, where people just turn up, do nothing, and then go home.
Duke, Big J told you Harvey, mate.
Yeah.
Harvey will play. He's got the job security. So,
yeah.
That's it. Yeah, cool. I think.
All right, guys.
That will do us. We aim for an hour.
Yep.
An hour and 17. Right. Not too bad. So thank you guys so much for watching, for joining us, asking your questions, and going through each of the games. I know it's not right after the games, a bit like what other channels do, but it's great. We love to talk with you guys and have it be live so that you guys can have your input on the games as well. So thank you guys so much for coming in. Oh, Vivid's asking thoughts on Taj Woden. Did you watch Taj Woden play?
Nah.
The father-son for Melbourne?
Yeah, I know he's the father-son. Pull up his stats for a sec before we go. Sneaky little one. I don't think so. He's not a player for me.
I thought him decent. I thought it was a decent first outing for him. The Saints came out to play. They were really high energy. They were playing at Marvel. So Marvel, smaller ground. That's the only game that Melbourne play over there. And that's the only game he'll play for the rest of the year. So, look, I thought he showed some glimpses. I thought he was pretty good. He's got no rush for him playing in that premiership team. I don't think he'll hold his spot in the side, but there's certainly something to be worked to work on there. So, congratulations to him. Hopefully, he has a long and wonderful career over there with the Demons. Jen's saying that she should have held Sicily instead of Oliver.
Yep.
Yeah. It is what it is. You couldn't predict that Oliver's going to miss 69 weeks. It's ridiculous. You know what I mean?
You know what's funny is Oliver's probably going to get that 30% discount because he's only played 10 games this year. So Oliver might actually be cheaper next year.
That would be beautiful.
If he's out for the season.
If he's out for the season.
Hey, why not? Yeah.
Gold Coast will beat up St Kilda, says Jonas.
Probably. We'll see what happens.
We'll beat them up, he says. Beat them up. I see beat up as 40 plus.
Yeah, that's all right. Anyways, guys, we'll catch you on. We'll catch you on Thursday at 5:30 for hopefully not car cams, but we'll see how we go. Catch ya.
See you guys. Bye.